Hey guys, just wanted to jump on and make a quick video as we got a really cool announcement this morning that Frontier has been able to release the example scenes for the Thememaker's Toolkit. So if you go to the Toolkit site and go to the user guide and down to example scenes, here they are. There are going to be some material examples, but they haven't added those in yet. It says that they'll be added soon. Hopefully it'll be maybe within the next couple weeks, I don't know. But it'll be nice to see those as well. But in the meantime, we've got a set of really good objects to be able to take a look at, and there were some cool things that I kind of discovered looking at them that I wanted to share. So the example objects that we got are the mermaid statue, the iron piston, and the pirate lookout. So you've got a completely static object in the mermaid, a simple animated object in the iron piston, and then a rather more complicated animated object in the pirate. The iron piston's basically the same one we already had in-game. It's recolorable just like the original was, and it acts and works exactly the same way. So really the whole point of downloading that one is going to be to take a look at it for yourself. Whereas the other two, there are a couple of differences from the items we already had in-game. So even if you're not a workshop person, you might still want to download these and take a look at them because, well, you get a colorable mermaid statue. And our pirate, while he was already colorable, note is lacking a certain feature that the in-game ones all have. I don't know why the animatronics all had bum poles. It's just a thing. Okay, so the first Blender file we're going to look at is the iron piston. You can see that it's set up so that there are multiple objects making it up, and each of those has all of the LODs in it. And now, that's not quite the case, as I discovered that when you get down to the piston part of it here, it only goes between LOD 0 to LOD 4. Normally there's 5, but that means that if an object is simple enough, you can leave that LOD off, and it will still work as long as somewhere in the entire file you've got all 6 LODs. So that's something useful, as one of the pieces that I already created, my balloons, had the balloon as one piece and the string as another piece, and I thought that all of those LODs were going to be needed for both of them, so by the time you can't see the string anymore, I had just reduced it to just a little triangle so it was still there. But as it turns out, it doesn't need to be there at all as long as the balloon part was on all 6 LODs. So, got a nice little animation here. Fairly simple stuff, but very, very useful to take a look at how this file is put together. Also, I put together some statistics on this object and all of the other objects that I will go ahead and show on screen now. So you can get an idea of when you're reducing for the various LODs, which level of detail. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that when I get to the next part of my simple sign tutorial on Monday. You can also get a good idea of what a reasonable baseline is for materials for an object of this size. And here's a look at the textures and materials that you've got for the iron piston. As you can see, it's using 2 separate ones. One is the housing, and one is for the logo, which is just a little decal that's on there. So you've got like the base color for each of them, and then the F1, F2 are like your flexi colors, metalness, normal map, roughness, and all of that stuff. So you've got quite a few maps for each of these objects, so it's interesting to take a look and see what goes into building these objects that you see in-game. Next up is the mermaid statue, and here are all the details about this model. As you can see, the material size and the uploaded file size is a good deal bigger than what a lot of people, including myself, thought was going to be acceptable to use within the Thememaker's Toolkit. But it's nice to see an object directly from Frontier that's a relatively complicated model, but see what kind of sizes would be expected for a model like this. And here are the texture files for the mermaid. Nothing too complicated here, she's just got one texture file and a number of materials applied to it, including flexicolor. And finally, here's our pirate, the most complicated of the animatronics, and here's all the stats about him. You can get a good idea of how his bone structure is set up by turning on the X-ray feature, so you can see where all of the bones of the armature are and how they work together to make the animation. There he goes. Alright, so one other cool thing that I wanted to point out about this is that this little telescope is a separate object, but otherwise this pirate is all one object. However, when you look at the textures, you'll see that his outfit is a separate texture, his skin is a separate texture, his prop, so that would be a number of things aside from just the telescope that he's holding, are all separate textures, and then his eyes are separate texture as well. So you have multiple textures being used on a single object, so we know that that's possible. Alright, well that's everything that I saw this morning that I wanted to point out for you guys. If you've seen anything else that you find interesting about the new example scenes, let me know in the comments. And otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Bye!